Well, I don't know whether to call this video trashed bags, trashy bags, or beat up Birkins. I'll figure it out later. But there's a trend going on of beating up Birkins, or at least pre-beaten up Birkins. Do you know about this? In this video, I'm going to tell you about that, why it's a thing. I'll tell you someone I know who is on board with it, and I'll tell you whether I'm on board with it. And then you can make up your own mind. So stay tuned. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury living on a budget, from high-end luxury handbags and small goods to the everyday luxuries of life. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos, and be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. And one of the perks of subscribing to my channel is you get to see my community post on your YouTube homepage, where I post deals, discount codes, sales, and rare finds related to these beautiful things we love. This video is in collaboration with my friend Winnie LV here on YouTube. Her video will be linked in the description box below. I know a lot of you are already familiar with Winnie, but if you are not, you must go check her out. She is fabulous, she's hilarious. If you want to be entertained with handbags and comedy, her channel is the place to go. So please do go watch her video as soon as you are done watching mine. Those of you who know Winnie well probably already know her perspective on this trend of beat up Birkins. And that whistling you hear in the background is my bird Vincent, and a lot of you are familiar with her too. I know Winnie's perspective, as many of you do, and my perspective will probably differ from hers. And that's one of the things I love about collaborating with other YouTubers, is that you get different voices and different perspectives. Before we proceed, I must pause to thank Winnie. Winnie, thank you. She knows why I'm thanking her. Now I'm going to tell you. I dropped the ball on Winnie. I let her down this week because this video right here, we were supposed to post it 2 days before it did get posted. I'm filming this on Tuesday afternoon after work, which is when the video was supposed to go live. I was supposed to have filmed it on Sunday, but as many of you know, Paul and I are moving to Oregon later this year, and I have been hunting for jobs. I will drop breaking news on you here. I am not planning to stay in teaching. I'm leaving teaching. However, in my job search on Sunday, I found the perfect job, a dream job for me. The application was due the next day, and I found the job Sunday afternoon. It was due Monday evening, and I had to work all day Monday. So I spent the rest of Sunday well into the night, and early Monday, and after work Monday, every free second I had working on that application, doing research for it, updating my resume to fit that job, and answering the essay questions that they had for the application. I got it in on time, but that had to be a priority over filming this video. So I asked Winnie if she could please postpone this so that I had time to do that application, and she was extremely gracious and kind and said, yes, of course, I understand how important that is. So yeah, we can push it and I'll put something else up. So thank you again, Winnie. I so appreciate that. Also, while we're on the subject of Oregon, I mentioned in a recent video that we're moving to the Portland area, and I asked about recommendations for neighborhoods, and I wasn't clear. A lot of you were telling me about central Portland, the city proper. We are planning to live outside of Portland in the suburbs, probably in the southwest suburbs, for a variety of reasons. Now, I'm not 100% sure of that. We could end up closer into the city, but right now we're thinking southwest suburb area. So if you have ideas, recommendations on apartments there, please send them my way in the comment section below, or email me if you want. autumnbeckman@gmail.com. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand, the beat up Birkin trend. What is this all about? The beat up Birkin trend can apply to Birkins, to Kellys, to other bags, but it does seem to be intended for luxury bags, expensive bags. And what this is that you have a very expensive luxury bag that is beat up, it is worn, it is like on its last legs. These are bags that would be marked poor condition. These are bags that you wouldn't give a second glance to if you were shopping for a bag. Until recently. I heard about this trend from Winnie. A lot of you have probably heard about it from her too, because she's on a bit of a beat up Birkin or beat up Kelly journey. And for her, it originated from the Olsen twins. They're into high fashion, and there are photographs of one of the twins carrying a very beat up Kelly bag. It's almost not even recognizable as a Kelly bag. It's discolored, the leather corners especially are worn through. I mean, these bags are messed up. But for some people in this trend, this is now high fashion. Why is that? Because most of us, again, would never consider purchasing a bag in this condition. So why would anybody wear these, especially people who can afford brand new bags? Well, there are a few theories behind this. One is that true luxury is worn. It's effortless, it's not babied, and it's worn in because you don't care. It's not precious. You don't treat it like a thing that has to be taken care of, and you don't dust it and stuff it and put it in the dust bag. You just toss it around because you can afford to. To that idea, I would counter, if you can afford to do that, can't you also afford to have lots of bags that you can rotate so they always stay in great condition? Or if something does get worn or damaged, you can afford to replace it. Another reason why this may be a trend is to counter the perfect images that we see on social media. The thought being, real life isn't perfect, so let's not pretend it is. In fact, let's go the other direction and portray a life that may be far from it. That I understand more than the first one, particularly when you're considering that these bags are in such a used, worn state that they are really damaged, like piping showing through the corners, things like that, stains, ickiness. So to me, it does make more sense as a fashion trend and not a marker of money and status. And to that, I've noticed that there have been people who say, you know, I got this bag and I know it's gonna get marked up, but, or I bought this bag and it already is marked up, but those marks tell a story. That's the reason that a lot of people give. But I have noticed that when people say that it tends to be with materials or particular leathers like vachetta or box leather that mark up easily. And they'll say, oh, that's just the nature of the leather, or it tells the story of the bag or of me carrying the bag. But it also kind of seems like justification. And I'm not saying there's anything at all wrong with that. I have plenty of bags that are marked up, don't have any that are beat up. But just saying that's kind of interesting to note that people, in my experience, tend to only say that with delicate materials and not with other bags. That might be slightly off topic. Now, am I on board with this trend? If you want to know if Winnie's on board, you'll have to watch her video. But am I on board? Fashion-wise, maybe. Just again, because I can understand that argument of looking at one extreme of perfection on social media and taking that to the other extreme of vast imperfection. I would note too that people are also beating bags up. Like, I found this one article that gave you tips on how to beat your bag up. Basically how to ruin your handbag, your very expensive luxury handbag, in order to fit in with this trend. But doesn't that exactly counter the trend? Doesn't it go completely against the trend? Because the trend is all about, at least from one perspective, having a bag and wearing it long enough, using it enough, not carrying enough, that it becomes worn on its own over time. It's quite a different thing to take a new bag and try to destroy it. But if you're just going at it from a fashion perspective to get that anti-perfection thing, then I guess it makes more sense. So fashion-wise, I could see that. I don't think it's my thing though. I don't think it's really my style. I have some vintage Coach bags that I like that have some marks on them, but they're in great shape. They're not at death's door like some of these bags. Another point when you're thinking about whether you're on board with this is the financial aspect. So even if you go on the pre-loved market and you try to find a really beat up bag, which Winnie has been doing, she's been looking for beat up Birkins and Kellys for a few months now. Even the ones in the worst condition, the cheapest ones are still many thousands of dollars, like I'd say upwards of 5 or 6 or 7,000. And you get caught up in your head when you're in this luxury space, when you encounter things like this, because this reminds me of when I was looking for my Chanel reissue. To me, a very expensive bag. And as I was browsing them and I would sort them by price and look at the cheapest bags first, I would find some that I thought, for a Chanel bag, that's cheap. So like for an Hermes bag, a Birkin, a Kelly, 5,000-6,000, that may be cheap. But then you start to look at the condition and you see that there's wear, there's damage perhaps, and you start to think, if it's a bag you really want and it's a great price, can you deal with that wornness? The wear, that would, wear is the word, not wornness. Can you deal with that wear? Is that wear okay with the price difference. And what I kept coming back to when I was shopping for the Chanel reissue is I'd have to snap back into reality and remind myself that even if I found a Chanel reissue that was $2,000 or $3,000, which would be cheap for that bag, or even if you find an Hermes bag for $5,000, $6,000, cheap for those bags, that's still a heck of a lot of money for a damaged bag. Like, come on, right? If you went to the store, let's say you go to Saks or Neiman's or something and they have vintage bags, and you find a beat up bag, your dream bag, but a beat up bag in terrible condition, are you actually going to pay that much money for it? Thousands of dollars? And I say go to the store because I find that I have a different reaction to prices for some reason when I'm online versus seeing something in person. And I don't know if that's like because online it's not as real, or you get caught up in finding bargains or something, but in person it's more tangible, so it feels more real. I don't know what the psychology behind that is. But the idea of spending thousands of dollars on a trashed bag just does not appeal to me. How about you? What is your take on this trend? Would you carry a trashed bag? Let's say it was free and it was a Birkin or whatever your dream bag might be. Would you carry it if it was trashed? What if it was your dream bag and you had to pay for it? What's the most you'd pay for it trashed, or would you carry it at all if it was trashed? So what do you think of this trend? Would you buy into it? Or what about if you already have a bag? Do you treat it like you're not precious with it? You throw it around and you don't care in the slightest if it gets beat up. Will you carry that for the rest of your life no matter how it looks? Love to hear your perspective on this, and you will love to hear Winnie's perspective on this, so make sure you go to the description box below and click the link to her video and go check that out right now. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope to see you back here next time. Thank you again to Winnie for being so gracious to postpone this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.